Okay, so today we're gonna make vanilla extract. Problem though is that when I went to order my beans, they were gonna take way too long to get here, and then you guys have to wait like another month before I even got a video out to you guys. So we're gonna improvise. What I recommend though is that you guys need to order your beans and have them fresh for this. Don't use beans that have already been soaking. This is just example sake so that I can show you guys exactly what the process looks like. So keep that in mind, please. So first things first, we're gonna weigh our beans. This is important because when you go to make vanilla extract, most of the time, everybody will tell you you only need 4 or 5 beans in a jar with alcohol and that'll create vanilla extract. This is not good advice. You need to be weighing your beans every single time. And it creates a more consistent flavor and a consistent extract. So we need to keep that in mind. You want to shoot for 1 to 2 ounces of beans per 1 cup of alcohol. Now on a pint jar, 1 cup is roughly just over halfway. Now, with that being said, your alcohol to bean ratio will probably look like more, but I promise it's going to all work out here, okay? So to start off, let's weigh our beans. So I'm only going to take enough out of here for the demonstration. Again, do not use beans that have been soaking. Use fresh beans that you've ordered from the recommended groups. Recommended. Who says that? Anyways, I'm going to weigh our beans. And I'm going to show you roughly what 1 ounce of these beans is going to look like. Because then you're going to realize, oh, you're right. You know what? A few beans is not enough. Okay, so these are soaked beans. They are going to weigh a lot more. But roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these bad boys, these big old boys, is about 1 ounce of beans. Okay, now you'll put them in your jar. I only have a pint jar, so we're just going to work with this. What you can do in this situation, if this is you making beans right now and you just saw this and you're like, bro, how is that going to fit? Well, there's a couple options here. You can cut the beans in half, just right there. Or you can cut them up into smaller bits or just fold them over and just shove them in the jar. Like, that's an option too. So now that you have your 1 ounce of beans, it's weighed out, it's ready to go, it's in your jar, like we're rolling, we're ready for this. You get your alcohol choice. I like to use vodka because this is a quicker turnaround. If you want to use rum or bourbon, keep in mind that it's going to take longer for a more fuller flavored bean, okay? So now, literally just, I'm probably going to add this to my other jar because this is a lot of alcohol for my 1 jar. Maybe, we'll see. And you just keep on going until you get to about a cup, which we determined was about right there. And then you put your lid on. There. Put your lid on. You have vanilla. Now, you are going to see that there is a gap. There's an air gap in there. Now, if you have that, you can go ahead and feel free to add more beans to this. And then just add more beans, add a little more alcohol, cover them fully. If you leave beans exposed for too long, then they can get moldy. It doesn't always happen, but that's why it's important that after you do this process, you go ahead and daily just shake your jar a couple times. Or when you remember, honestly. It doesn't have to exactly be daily. It can be a few times a week. It could be whenever you remember. If you forgot that you shook it in the morning, you go in the evening, you're like, I forgot to shake it, and you shake it. Like, it's fine. It's not gonna ruin your vanilla extract. Keep in mind, it does take a while for your beans to go from this color to this color. This was done back in April. It is already pretty dark. You're going to see that. You're going to see pretty quickly that your beans are going to already become dark, like right off the bat. That doesn't mean it's done. That does not mean that your vanilla extract is done. If you smell it, it's going to smell a lot like alcohol. Yeah, like that still smells like Bacardi. Now, when you get to the finished process, which usually is about a year, it does take about a year to fully extract the flavor and everything. Once you get to that year mark, it's probably still going to smell a lot more like alcohol than vanilla. You can taste test it to make sure it's done by adding a few drops of it to a little bit of whipped cream on a spoon and then try it, or a little bit of cream cheese. If it tastes like a shot of whatever you had when you were 21 years old, then it's probably not ready. But you could potentially still use it in baking, like something like cookies or brownies or a cake or something like that. Maybe you can go ahead and try it out that way and see how it comes out. I will say that I've had vanilla extracts that were 2 years old that still tasted like alcohol when I tried it. But then I went and baked it, and it was totally fine using it in baked goods and stuff. So with that being said, vanilla extract takes time. It is a game of patience. It is a whole thing that people seem to get wrong constantly, and it's very frustrating because it's not going to be done in 3 months. It doesn't matter if you cut it up. It doesn't matter if you split the bean down the side, if you shake it religiously every single day. It does not matter. It's not going to be done in just 3 months or just 6 months, or even 2 months is one that I've seen a lot recently. Vanilla extract takes time. So if you want to make this for Christmas, make it now and gift it, and just tell the receiver that you need to wait a few extra months. Or, other option is vanilla paste. That's a whole other video to do because that's a process, making vanilla paste. However, it is a quicker turnaround. It only needs to sit for a month. And that's a wonderful gift, especially for somebody who really loves to bake. Vanilla paste is a fantastic gift to give to them. So, with all that being said, get your beans, weigh your beans, get a kitchen scale. They're like $9 on Amazon. Just get one. Weigh your beans out, put them in your jar, put your alcohol in your jar, set it and forget about it. Just forget it's there. Now, if you want vanilla beans to use for just like, okay, let's say you're making ice cream today and you want to put some of the vanilla flakes into it, like the flecks, the little tiny white dots that look like dirt. Get a separate amount of beans that you can dedicate to just that, and just put them in a jar with some cheap vodka or some cheap rum. That way it doesn't go rancid. You need the alcohol to preserve the beans, or else they will mold and they will go rancid. So make sure that even if you have beans that you're going to use separately for baking purposes, for the aesthetic stuff, make sure you keep them still in a jar, but remember that that's the jar that you're pulling from to use for your baked goods, and not the jar that you're trying to extract for. This is a whole thing I can talk about for hours, so we'll just leave it at that. If you have any other questions, any other comments, any thoughts, anything you want to bring up that doesn't have to do with everything behind me, I apologize about my kitchen, but this is a working homestead kitchen, so get used to it. Put it in the comments below, or, shoot me a message, whatever you want to do, let me know. And also, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to, come along for the journey. Like, we're doing this, guys. We're going to talk real stuff here, real processes, and how I think the internet needs to stop, full stop on all the misinformation, okay? So, with that little rant over and done with, again, just make sure you're following us. Make sure you like, you share, you tell your friends. Make sure you tell me in the comments below what you liked, what you don't like. If you got any comments, if you just want to yell at me for my background, I don't care. Like, just let's go. See you on the next one.